You know what haunts her more than your absence. The 9 emotional stages she cannot escape once you are gone. She thought you would always be there. She thought your patience was infinite and your loyalty guaranteed. But the second you walk away without explanation and without drama and without begging for her attention, something inside her breaks. And it is not just one emotion. It is a cascade of 9 distinct stages that hit her harder than she ever expected. These stages are not about revenge. They are about the natural psychological consequences of taking someone for granted. From the initial sting of rejection to the crushing weight of silence, each stage reveals a truth she refused to see when you were there. I am walking you through all 9 stages today. By the end, you will understand why your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. If this helped you even a little, please like and leave a comment and subscribe. Your support truly motivates me to keep sharing this message. Here is what most people do not understand about rejection. It is not about what you lost. It is about what she suddenly realizes she cannot control. When you disappear, the first thing that hits her is shock. Not sadness, not regret, pure, unfiltered shock. Because in her mind, you were supposed to be predictable. You were the one who always came back and always tried harder and always gave more. You were her emotional constant. But the moment you vanish without warning, that entire narrative collapses. She is left staring at her phone, refreshing her messages, checking if you have viewed her stories, desperately searching for proof that you still care. And when she finds nothing, the sting sets in. This is not the gentle ache of missing someone. This is the sharp, visceral pain of realizing she has been rejected, not by someone she did not care about, but by someone she took for granted. That is the difference. She assumed you would always be available, and now you are not. That assumption just shattered. Let me tell you what is really happening in her brain right now. When someone knows you will always be there, they do not consciously think about controlling you, but subconsciously they are operating from a place of assumed power. You became her safety net, not because she is evil, but because humans are wired to conserve emotional energy. If something feels guaranteed, we stop investing effort into it. It is basic psychology. So when you remove yourself, you are not just leaving her life. You are pulling the rug out from under her sense of security. She thought she had you figured out. She thought your love meant you would tolerate anything. But your absence just proved her wrong. And that realization does not feel like sadness. It feels like freefall. But let me be honest about something most men will not admit. A lot of guys stay not because they love her, but because they are terrified of being alone. They mistake comfort for connection. They confuse routine for commitment. And she felt that. Women can sense when you are staying out of fear rather than desire. That is why she felt safe taking you for granted. I am not saying it is your fault. I am saying she read your energy, and your energy was saying, I will accept anything because I need you more than I need my self-respect. That is the truth bomb no one wants to hear, but it is the one that sets you free. And look, I see you. I see the man who gave everything, who showed up when she did not, who tried when she stopped trying. You were not weak for loving hard. You were human. The mistake was not loving her. The mistake was forgetting to love yourself in the process. Now here is where you need to pay attention, because this stage is where most men make a critical mistake. They walk away, but then they ruin it by explaining themselves. They send long texts about how hurt they were and how much they tried and how she never appreciated them. And in doing that, they hand the power right back to her. Your silence is your strength. When you disappear without justification and without closure, and without giving her the satisfaction of knowing she got to you, you force her to sit with the consequences of her actions. There is no argument for her to win and no explanation for her to dismiss. Just absence. And absence is the most powerful statement you can make. Do not give her your reasons. Let your absence be the reason. She did not reject your worth. She rejected your willingness to stay without it being earned. Do you agree that silence speaks louder than explanations? Drop a comment and let me know. because what I am about to share next will show you exactly why her emotional spiral is just beginning. After the initial shock fades, something else creeps in, something she absolutely did not see coming: emptiness. She convinced herself she would not miss you. She probably even said it out loud to her friends. If he leaves, I will be fine. I do not need him anyway. But then days pass and she starts noticing something strange. Her life feels hollow. It is not dramatic. It is not a breakdown. It is the quiet, gnawing realization that something fundamental is missing. The person who made her laugh and who listened when she complained and who added warmth to her daily routine is gone. And no amount of distraction can fill that space. Here is the brutal truth. She thought you were replaceable. She thought the energy you brought and the way you made her feel seen and valued was something anyone could provide. But now she is trying to fill that void with someone new, or with her friends, or with work, or with anything, and it is not working. Because you were not just a presence in her life. You were a specific type of energy that made everything feel lighter, and that energy is irreplaceable. Here is something fascinating from psychology. There is a concept called loss aversion. Research shows that the pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. Which means, right now, the pain she feels from losing you is literally double the joy she ever felt having you. That is not opinion. That is neuroscience. Your absence hits her harder than your presence ever satisfied her. And that is exactly why you can never go back to being that available again. The void grows bigger with every small moment. She sees something funny and instinctively reaches for her phone to text you, then remembers you are not there. She has a bad day and realizes the one person who would have understood just walked away. She hears a song you both liked, and suddenly she is drowning in memories she thought she had forgotten. These are not grand, cinematic moments. They are tiny, painful reminders that you were woven into the fabric of her daily life in ways she never acknowledged. And here is what makes it worse. She cannot talk about this. Because if she admits how much she misses you, she is admitting she was wrong. She is admitting she took you for granted, and pride will not let her do that. Not yet. But here is the uncomfortable truth most men avoid. Some of you are sitting in that void too, missing her, checking her profile, hoping she reaches out. You walked away physically, but emotionally you are still there. And that is the difference between leaving and actually letting go. You can ghost someone and still be haunted by them. Real strength is not just walking away. It is staying away when every part of you wants to go back. I know that void feels heavy. I know some nights you wonder if you made the right choice. That is not weakness. That is proof you loved genuinely. The difference now is you are choosing to love yourself more. So she sits in that void, trying to convince herself it is temporary. She tells herself she will move on and that someone else will come along. But deep down, she knows. She knows that what you brought to her life was not just companionship. It was a specific blend of understanding and patience and care that she will never find again. Not because you are perfect, but because you were present in a way no one else was willing to be. You gave her your time and your energy and your emotional investment. And she treated it like background noise. Now that noise is gone, and the silence is deafening. She is missing the you that gave everything. You are becoming the you that requires everything. By this point, she is deep in the void, and she starts to get desperate. Curiosity ** kicks in, and it is overwhelming. The big question in her mind now is, where are they? What are they doing? Who are they with? She becomes obsessed with knowing what is going on in your life because she no longer has access to you. You are a mystery, and nothing is more unsettling than not knowing what is going on with someone who was once so close. There is a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect. It is why unfinished tasks stick in our minds more than completed ones. When you disappear without closure, you become an unfinished chapter in her mind. Her brain literally cannot let you go because the story did not end properly. She is stuck in a loop, replaying every moment trying to find the ending. And the longer you stay silent, the more intense that loop becomes. You are not just gone, you are unsolved. And the human brain hates unsolved puzzles. In the age of social media, this stage is even more intense. She will be checking your Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and every platform just to get a glimpse of what you are up to. But here is the kicker. You are not giving her anything. You have gone dark. No updates, no stories, no posts, nothing. And it drives her crazy. Why? Because human beings hate the unknown. The moment you vanish, her mind starts running wild with questions. This is where her insecurity kicks in. She starts wondering, has he moved on? Is he seeing someone else? Is he better off without me? She cannot handle not knowing, so she becomes fixated on trying to find answers. But let me challenge you on something. How many of you are disappearing just to make her curious? How many are using silence as a tactic rather than genuine boundary setting? Because if you are no contact but still checking if she is checking on you, you are not healing. You are performing, and she can feel the difference. Real indifference does not need to be proven. It just exists. This is when she might even reach out to mutual friends, trying to get information about you. She will ask questions, but she will be too proud to admit she cares. It is a sad sight, really. Someone who thought they did not need you, now going out of their way to figure out what you are doing. The truth is, curiosity is a powerful emotion. When someone cannot get the answers they want, their mind fills in the gaps. She will start imagining you with someone else, imagining you happier and more fulfilled. And those images torture her. Your mystery becomes your power. The less she knows, the more she thinks about you. The more she thinks about you, the bigger your presence becomes in her absence. And here is the beautiful irony. When you were there, giving her everything, she barely noticed you. Now that you are gone, giving her nothing, you are all she can think about. That is not a tactic. That is human psychology. We obsess over what we cannot have, what we cannot understand, and what slips through our fingers. And right now, you are all three. The moment you stop checking if she is watching is the moment you have truly left. Eventually, the curiosity becomes unbearable. She has to know, so she reaches out, not with an apology, not with vulnerability, but with a casual text designed to test the waters. Hey, how have you been? I saw something that reminded me of you, just checking in. These messages are not about reconnecting. They are about gauging your reaction. She wants to see if you are still accessible, if you will respond immediately, if you are still emotionally invested. It is a breadcrumb designed to see if you will come running back. I know how tempting it is when that text comes through. After weeks of silence, seeing her name pop up on your screen, part of you lights up. Part of you thinks, maybe she finally gets it. I get it. You are not weak for feeling that pull. You are human. But what you do next determines everything. And here is where you prove everything. Because the man you were before would have responded instantly. You would have seen that message as an opening, a chance to fix things, to explain yourself, to win her back. But you are not that man anymore. When you do not respond, or when you respond days later with something brief and emotionless, it sends a clear message. You do not have power here anymore. She is left staring at her phone, rereading her message, wondering what went wrong. Did he not see it? Is he ignoring me on purpose? Is he over me completely? The not knowing eats at her because she is used to getting reactions from you. But you are not reacting. You are living, and that difference is everything. Here is the brutal reality. Most men respond, not because they want her back, but because they want validation that the pain they caused her matters. They want proof that their absence had impact. But the second you respond to prove your power, you have already lost it. Power does not need proof. Power just is. This is the moment the power dynamic completely flips. She went from being the one who controlled access to her attention to being the one desperately seeking yours. And you did not have to force anything. You just stopped being available. That is the power of boundaries. That is the power of knowing your worth. She is not texting to reconnect. She is texting to confirm you are still accessible. Now her mind spirals into darker territory. Jealousy. She starts imagining you with someone else, someone prettier, someone easier, someone who appreciates you in ways she never did. And that image tortures her, because suddenly you are not just the guy who walked away. You are the guy who is potentially giving someone else what she rejected. Neuroscience tells us that jealousy activates the same brain regions as physical pain. When she imagines you with someone else, her brain processes it the same way it would process a physical injury. That is why this stage is so visceral for her. It is not just emotional discomfort. Her brain is literally experiencing pain. The irony is suffocating. When you were with her, your attention felt like a given. Now that you are gone, the thought of you giving that attention to someone else makes her physically sick. She will start watching your social media like a hawk. She will analyze every like and every comment and every photo, looking for evidence of your new life. And if she sees even a hint that you are moving on, the jealousy will consume her. But here is what I want you to ask yourself. Are you actually moving on, or are you just trying to make her jealous? Because if you are posting photos with other women just to trigger her, you are still operating from a place of needing her validation. True freedom is when you move on because you genuinely want to, not because you want her to see you moving on. But here is where it gets worse for her. She starts comparing herself to whoever she imagines you are with. And in her mind, that person is always better, more fun, more attractive, more appreciative, less difficult. Every insecurity she has ever had comes flooding back because your absence forced her to see what she had and threw away. The what-if scenarios will not stop. What if he finds someone better? What if he falls in love? What if he forgets about me completely? These questions haunt her because she knows the answer might already be yes. And the worst part, she brought this on herself. That realization sits heavy in her chest, and there is nothing she can do about it. Revenge dating is still about her. Real moving on forgets there is someone to move on from. At some point, she tries to convince herself she is relieved. I am finally free from all that pressure. I do not have to deal with his expectations anymore. She might even go out more and post more on social media and act like she is living her best life, but it is a performance, and deep down she knows it, because the freedom she thought she would feel is empty. She is not free from you. She is free from the best thing she had, and that realization hits her in waves. The regret does not come all at once. It creeps in slowly during quiet moments when she is alone with her thoughts. She remembers how patient you were, how you showed up even when she did not deserve it, how you tried when she did not. And now all of that is gone, not because you stopped loving her, but because you finally loved yourself more. That is when the regret becomes unbearable. Let me talk about something most people will not. Some of you are hoping she goes through all 9 stages. You are waiting for her breakdown and her regret and her begging, and that hope is keeping you stuck, because you are not truly letting go if you are still waiting for her karma. You are not free if you need her to suffer for your healing to be complete. Real peace does not require her ending. It just requires your growth. I know it feels good to imagine her finally understanding what she lost. That is normal, but do not let that imagination become your emotional prison. But even with all this regret, her pride will not let her reach out properly. She will not apologize. She will not admit she was wrong. Instead, she will keep testing you with small gestures, hoping you will do the work for her. Do not let her sit in that regret. Let her understand that some decisions have permanent consequences. You are not being cruel. You are being consistent. And that consistency is what is breaking through her denial. Her regret is not your reward. Your peace is. When regret sets in and she realizes you are not coming back easily, she shifts strategies. Now she tries to pull you back into her life through games. She posts photos looking happy with other people. She drops cryptic captions designed to make you jealous. She accidentally shows up places she knows you might be. It is all calculated to get a reaction from you. Behavioral psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. By being unpredictable, she is trying to trigger the reward centers in your brain. Random texts, sudden coldness. It is designed to keep you guessing and keep you engaged and keep you hooked. And it works, until you understand the game. But here is the thing. You are not playing anymore. You have outgrown the games. You see right through the tactics because you have done the inner work. And when she realizes her attempts are not working, it breaks something in her. But check yourself. Are you immune to her games or are you playing your own? Because the silent treatment can be healthy boundaries or it can be passive-aggressive behavior. The difference is your intention. If you are silent to heal, that is strength. If you are silent to punish, that is just her tactics in a different form. Every time she tries to provoke you and gets nothing back, her frustration grows. She is used to getting reactions. She is used to people chasing her when she pulls away. But you are not chasing. You are not even watching. And that indifference is the most powerful response you could give. This is where she fully realizes she has lost control. The person who used to bend over backwards for her attention now does not even flinch when she tries to get it back. That is not cruelty. That is growth. And growth does not respond to games. It responds to genuine change, which she has not offered. Refusing to play her game does not mean starting your own. By now, your silence has become its own language. It is not passive. It is not weak. It is the loudest statement you have ever made. Every day that passes without a word from you tells her exactly where she stands. Nowhere. And that message is louder than any argument or explanation or justification you could have given. She thinks back to all the times she ignored your calls, left you on read, made you wait for responses. Now she would do anything to hear from you. The irony is suffocating. I know your silence cost you something too. I know there were nights you wanted to break it, wanted to explain, wanted to be understood. You are not cold for staying quiet. You are protecting what is left of your peace. Silence is torturous for someone who thrives on attention. She is left with nothing but her own thoughts, replaying every moment, analyzing every mistake, and wondering if there is any way back. But your silence gives her no answers, only more questions, and those questions eat at her every single day. This is the stage where she starts to realize your absence might be asterisk permanent. The silence is not a phase, it is not a tactic, it is your new reality, and that realization is devastating, because she cannot undo what has been done. She cannot take back how she treated you. All she can do is sit in the consequences. Your silence is not cruelty, it is the boundary she forced you to build. Finally, we reach the breaking point. Fear. Raw, unfiltered fear that she has lost you for good. This is not about pride anymore. This is not about games. This is about the terrifying realization that the person she took for granted might actually be gone forever. And that thought makes her panic in ways she never thought possible. She imagines you building a life without her. She imagines you happy with someone who values you from day one. She imagines you looking back on her as nothing more than a lesson learned, and all of it makes her sick. This is when she reaches out properly, not with casual texts, not with games, but with genuine vulnerability, long messages, apologies, admissions of how wrong she was, promises to change, and it might even be sincere. But here is what you need to understand. This fear is not about loving you. It is about losing control and losing validation and losing the safety net she never knew she had. When she comes back, you have a choice. You can accept her apology and try again, knowing full well that fear motivated her change, not genuine growth. Or you can recognize that you have already moved on. You have done the work. You have rebuilt yourself. You have learned your worth. And that version of you does not need someone who only values you when you are gone. Here is the truth. The real victory is not her coming back. It is you being completely okay whether she does or not. You walked away to honor yourself, not to change her. You stayed silent to heal, not to punish. You moved on because staying was costing you your self-respect. And now you are free. Whether she realizes what she lost or not, you have already won, because you chose yourself. And that decision changed everything. And here is the question that will define your next chapter. When she comes back, and she might, will you have the strength to say no? Because most men fold, not because they still love her, but because they love the validation of being chosen again. They love proving they were right all along, but being chosen out of fear is not being chosen. It is being settled for, again. You did not walk away to win her back. You walked away to win yourself back. So I am asking you, are you ready to stay gone even when staying gone hurts? Are you ready to choose your peace over her presence? Because that is the real test, not whether she comes back, but whether you are strong enough to stay forward when she does. The version of you she is coming back to does not need her to come back. So what is the lesson here? These 9 stages are not a roadmap for revenge. They are a mirror showing you the power you have had all along, the power to choose yourself, the power to walk away from people who do not value you, the power to build a life so fulfilling that their absence becomes background noise. If you are going through this right now, and if you are in the middle of walking away or you are tempted to go back, remember this. Your silence and your boundaries and your self-respect are not weapons. They are declarations. Declarations that you know your worth and you refuse to settle for less. She might go through all 9 stages. She might realize what she lost. She might come back begging. And that freedom is the only victory that matters. If this message resonated with you, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe. I will see you in the next video.